What is up? Welcome to episode 53 of the RUDIS Wrestling Podcast. Matt, today, we didn't think we were going to be podcasting today, but we are. We're going to talk about UWW Juniors Freestyle, and we are going to talk about the new NCAA rules. Let's start with UWW Juniors. We'll just run through these weight mats. 55 kilograms. 57. Really good bracket. Really good bracket. But Malik Heinselman was so dominant that I don't think we have a lot to discuss.
Not really. I mean, I think he had a couple decent matches throughout the tournament, but then, the later stages, he just started rolling. And
the last three matches were just tech fall, no problem.
Yeah, so just to let everybody know, the winner of this tournament made it to the final World Trials, right? And the final Junior World Trials.
So they get the bye. They get the bye at the final of the Junior World Trials, which is at the same time as the Senior World Trials, May 17, 18? Is that what it is?
I believe so. So that'll be in Rutgers?
No, Raleigh.
Raleigh.
Raleigh's got the trials. Yep. And then Final X would be at both Lincoln and Rutgers, but the juniors do not compete at Final X.
Correct. Yep.
Which I'm good with. Okay, 61. I think this is where you get a little more interesting. Gabe Tagg pins Roman Bravo Young. Bravo Young had looked great. He had a dominant win over Pat Glory, who I think highly of in the semis. Man, a lot of just really high-level people in this bracket kind of all the way through. So I will be honest, I watched all of these finals after the fact. The way they have the tournament set up, which we talked about, I was coaching place matches. I did not have heavyweight in the finals, so you couldn't see both at one time. You know what? I was told that Gabe Tagg dominated Roman Bravo Young. Whooped his butt. That's not what happened at all.
It's a really, really good. It was probably one of the best matches of the entire tournament. I mean, it was back and forth.
Yeah, and so when the ending sequence, right, is Tagg is losing 4-2. He ends up getting a 4-point throw. Off of the same 4-point throw, he turns him over for another 2-point turn, and then eventually gets the fall.
Kind of like a weird sequence situation, right? Kind of like a neck wrench a little bit. It
wasn't exactly neck wrench, but yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Well, you remember Bravo Young kind of went for that, like, I don't know if you call it like a standing cradle-ish, and Tagg kind of stepped over it, and then he ended up keeping that arm trapped, and that was what he used to get him to his back. So yeah, I don't know, I don't even want to put a name on it because it was just kind of a weird scenario altogether.
But this would be a situation. One, let's go back. Talk about that scramble. That Gabe Tagg had him dead to rights a couple times, and Roman Bravo Young scrambled out. You remember the one I'm talking about?
No, I'm blanking on it right now. I watched these matches last night, I think. So, no, I watched them Sunday night. That's why I can't remember that well. No, I don't remember all that well. Tell us about it.
No, it was just a back and forth scramble. Tagg got in on a head outside. Looked like he had him dead to rights. Went for like a back trip. So a head outside, high crotch, got to his feet, went to back trip him, which is never, I don't think, never a good finish,
yes.
Right?
I agree. Not a good finish at all.
Right. Roman Bravo Young sits the corner, almost gets the takedown, and then Tagg reverses the situation and then ends up securing the takedown later. Or did it go to neutral again? But it was just
I thought it was neutral in that one.
Yeah, I think it ended up at neutral, but just a high-level scramble. Really a lot of fun to watch. But I think the thing that really stuck out to me was the level that Gabe Tagg has jumped in this year. Obviously, he'd been well-served during his year of residency at the OTC, wrestling under Kevin Jackson. But yeah, you could just see he has dramatically improved over the last year. I don't know if you have any thoughts about that.
No, I mean, I would agree. Keegan, the kid I coached, kind of took him apart in the junior national finals. I think he beat him 10-4 or something like that. So I would say much improved. If Roman Bravo Young comes back and gets him at the junior trials finals, I'm not totally shocked, but I could see Tagg making the team. And, I can see that one going really, really either way.
Sure.
The other guy I want to talk about here in this bracket, well, two guys. Number one, Jordan Decatur did not place. I think that's pretty disappointing. Actually, it just came out today that Ohio State was named the #1 recruiting class. I think we all were going to guess that was going to happen, but it's official. So Decatur loses on the front side, and then on the back side in the blood round, loses to a guy named Javon Parrish, who he started at 133 pounds for Nebraska this year. And I was annoyed by this guy because I later realized he was winning first round and kind of got caught and pinned. But he loses first round, Matt, and then then he wins one. And the 2 rounds of that, he had 2 old AWA guys, and so he knocks both of them out of the tournament. Which obviously that's why I'm annoyed. So he wins 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 matches in a row to come back and take 3rd place.
That's really impressive, especially at this weight class.
Yes, super impressive. So he did a great job. He's another guy where, hey, if he's in there with Tagg and Bravo Young at the trials, I'm not really that shocked by it. He did a great job.
Yeah, I mean, you could almost pick a number of these guys. I mean, Pat Glory, obviously returning All-American or All-American this year as a freshman.
But he kind of got schooled by Bravo Young. I mean, that one wasn't that competitive. I was kind of shocked by that.
Now, I don't really recall. I know he's got some freestyle experience, but
Glory has not wrestled a ton of freestyle.
None. Yeah. So
not none. I think it was after his junior year, he wrestled Fargo. And that was his first ever tournament. And he didn't do that well because you could tell, you could tell that he just didn't know freestyle that well or what he was doing.
But that's the thing with these RTCs. These young guys that don't have a high level of exposure to freestyle, they can have a lot of closing speed by just getting in the room and just focusing on specific areas in freestyle.
Oh yeah.
So in a month, I mean, we could see a lot of different results here just by these guys. They haven't had a lot of time, in the freestyle practice room. You don't know how high level training they're actually jumping in, especially, a month after the NCAA tournament. So, it'll be interesting to see, how things progress here through the world trials.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but in all fairness, Matt, the World Trials is like 3 weeks away.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing. Okay, 65 kilograms. Yahya Thomas comes through, beats Andrew Alirez in the finals. He beat Josh Saunders in the semis. He beat Keegan O'Toole in the quarters. Great tournament for him.
Hey, by the way, great
super deep bracket.
Great tournament for Northwestern. In general,
yes, absolutely.
Juniors and seniors.
Yeah, they had Deacon win. They had Lucas Davison won, who we'll be into later.
Yahya Thomas. Even though Brewer was on the coaching staff,
he's Virginia Tech now.
But I think he actually wrestled for the Chicago RTC out of the Open. But yeah, he is a Virginia Tech now. But yeah, just an outstanding weekend for Northwestern.
Yeah. So another good match in this bracket, Eliris Voinovich. Voinovich is he's either a sophomore or junior in high school. He went out and got 3 straight takedowns to go up 6-0 on Eliris. And then Eliris just turned it to another gear, and he ended up winning 14-6. That was and I believe it was 6-0 at the break. And then so all of Eliris' 14 points were in the second period. So he has a lot of tools to work with. He's tough. He stays in the match the entire time. So good work by him. Eliris then Tech falls Real Woods in the semis. And then the Yahya Thomas just, he's got more of a defensive style, kind of shuts it down. And that was, kind of the story of his tournament all the way through.
Yeah, but looked really, really good. So
absolutely.
Next weight, 70 kilos.
Okay, 70 kilos. This is a Buckeye right here. Sam Sasso. His toughest match, people miss this. His toughest match was actually in the first round. He got matched up with Quincy Monday of Princeton. It was a 13-10 match. Really, really wild. And, kind of after that,
he just kind of steamrolled. Yeah, he rolled.
He tech fall. He pins Jace Luchow, who's really high ranked. He pins Peyton Robb, who's really high ranked. He tech falls Anthony Arlona, and he tech falls Brayton Lee. I mean, that was a hell of a performance by Sammy Sasso.
Yeah, I mean, mean, again, this is coming on the heels of a really, really great redshirt freshman year for the Buckeyes. And yeah, I mean, Ohio State should be really excited about this, especially with their number one recruiting class coming in, having a guy like this. I mean, most of the time you've kind of got a question mark when you're replacing such a hammer in Micah Jordan.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I heard that guys on float, but they picked Sasso to win a national title next year.
I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, you got.
I don't think it is at all because a lot of those guys graduated.
Yeah. There's been some discussion that Yanni may move up to 149, but there's also been discussion that he's going to take an Olympic year next year too. So
how could you see at this point? How do you see Yanni not taking an Olympic year?
You would think you would have to.
He has to.
Yeah,
he has to.
Although that would do some damage to my prediction about them possibly being a title contender for next year. Although I didn't get a chance. Yeah, I didn't
push him 2 years down the road.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to talk to Rob.
Hey, I found your guy though. I found your guy.
The secret weapon for Cornell next year?
Their secret weapon. Yeah, we're talking about him next weight class.
All right.
Okay, the other match in the 70 kilogram bracket that was outstanding. Brayton Lee, Jacori Teemer, 9-9. Brayton Lee wins in the semis. Man, freaking wild match. Go. Those two, every time they get together, it's a pretty wild match. I would go watch that one if I were you.
I mean, the one surprising
that was a lot of fun.
The one surprising match for me here at 70 kilograms was Jacori Teemer and Artelona at 2-2. I've never seen a Teemer match that low scoring. I mean, usually,
I didn't realize where's that match
with Teemer. It was a fifth place match.
Teemer kind of cashed in by the end of the day. He was in that Peyton Robb match. He was acting like a baby.
Yeah.
Where he got tech fall by Peyton Robb. Hey, guess who we talked about earlier? Then Quincy Monday comes back all the way and loses to Peyton Robb for third place. But that's a long way back from that first round match with Sasso.
Yeah, talk about two guys. You just mentioned Javon Parrish, same thing.
Yeah.
Loses first round, 8 straight matches back. I mean, that's a lot of matches, and especially in freestyle, what a lot of people don't understand. There's not like a time limit. A lot of these matches, you're going back to back.
Yep. Yeah, one thing I don't like about these brackets here, Matt, is they really seed only based on the USA Wrestling and UWW tournaments. So, someone like in the previous bracket, one of the previous, Teague Travis, who is super young, but he placed that cadet division, UWW cadets, and then USA Wrestling cadets, which, hey, good job by him, of course. But then you guys with NCAA credentials, and you're not giving them any credit for that.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a big difference between a cadet division and NCAA Division I wrestling. That's a big jump. So, I don't know how you're gonna do it, but you need to find a way to get guys the proper seeds, and this would be one of them where they missed on.
Yeah, I mean, this is where there's a little bit of inconsistency in the seeding because at the senior level, I think they do factor in your NCAA placement, right?
I don't know. I don't know seeding criteria. I'm not.
But you do. Like if you're an NCAA champ, you're automatically qualified for the trials, correct?
Correct. That is correct.
So in that situation, if your NCAA credentials warrant you, entry into the final world trials at the senior level, you would think that they would at least put a component. And I get it. It's a different style. Folk style and freestyle is two different things.
Yeah.
But you would think that they would at least give some credit to your body of work from the college season.
You would think so. I mean, that would just make
and especially since there's the freestyle results are a year apart. I mean, guys can change dramatically in what.
Well, I mean, just the division's so different, man.
Right.
A cadet division and a UWW Juniors is just such a different division.
I mean, you're wrestling men. Some of these guys are sophomores in college.
Yeah, 2 years of college wrestling on the belt, and that's such a huge advantage. Okay, 74 kilograms, Matt. This is where your sleeper comes in right here. And so we got David Carr. He had a fun tournament because he goes 9-7 over Andrew Marola in the round of 16. He goes 4-2 over Nelson Brands in the quarters. He goes 8-6 over DJ Sandin, and then he does end up with a tech fall in the finals against Danny Braunagel. Good tournament, really good tournament by him. And I think your sleeper, Matt, for Cornell is Julian Ramirez. He had a really tough match with Danny Braunagel, which he lost 3-2. And then he lost a really close one to Nelson Brands in, I believe, the third place match. Obviously, with a year of college under his belt, I think he's developed a lot. I think he could be really good next year.
No, I think for sure. So I mean that could be the guy that we're looking at.
But if Yanni Olympic redshirts, then it's out the window.
True. So
hey, where does Nelson Brands start at next year, Matt? Riddle me that one.
Yeah, that should be interesting. I mean, when you're
because you had Caleb Young, Marinelli, Kemmerer. I don't know where he's going to go.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't think he can get down to 49. But
he's at 163 here. There's no way he can go to 49. Are you crazy, man?
I mean, that's the only way it looks like he's making his way in.
But then he's taking out Lugo. That's an All-American too.
Yeah. So I mean, he's got a tough road to hoe, but I think he probably was well aware of the situation going in there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it'll be interesting to see what happens there. The other match, really fun match here. If you guys want to watch a good one, and this is another guy who I don't think he's freestyled a whole lot, Matt. Jaden Maddux versus Joe Lee, 14-13 in the round of 16. That was a high level match. I don't believe Jaden Maddux freestyled the whole bunch. He ended up not placing this bracket, and I think, but I have heard he actually lost to Julian Ramirez in the blood round. Ohio State is pretty high on Jaden Maddux. Have you heard the same thing?
Yeah, I've heard the same thing. So that'll be a guy, that I think they're counting on next year. We'll see what happens.
Yep. Yeah. And I remember watching him at Full National. Really, really good top game, which is why I say he can really translate that into folk style really, really well. Yep. Another dominant performance by Aaron Brooks. He was our junior world team member last year, so that probably shouldn't be a huge shocker. Shane Griffith, actually, I think he's another one who didn't freestyle a lot, but he had a great, really good tournament. Beats Dustin Plott in the semis, makes the finals, but gets smashed by Aaron Brooks.
So let me ask you this, Ben, and I'm sorry to jump in there, but why? If you're returning junior world medalist, why wouldn't you automatically sit at the final?
You probably should, shouldn't you?
You should, you would think. I mean, again, we follow the same criteria at the senior level.
Juniors.
But yeah, just
Are we sure he placed last year? I feel like he did, but maybe I'm wrong.
I thought Brooks was in the finals last year.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
What if we're both wrong?
I don't think we are. But
I'm gonna go check
that up. But I'm pretty sure he was in the finals.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up for us to make sure that we are not incorrect. Yeah, I would. I mean, if I were them, I would sit him out too. I mean, obviously, you're in that tournament, you're gonna have less people sitting out because obviously, at some point, they graduate, right?
Right.
I mean, they're done with graduate. That's not the right terminology. What should I say? What should I say here, Matt? They expire. They get old. Too old for that bracket.
They evolve out of the bracket.
They evolve out of the bracket. Good one.
That's from that's from yesterday. My evolve comment. Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking this up as we speak.
But yeah, as you're looking it up, I mean, Aaron Brooks, obviously, I mean, there is a benefit. I think there's a sacrifice, but there's a big benefit. I mean, we talked a little bit yesterday to Kyle about, making that decision to live full time at the training center, either during your senior year or, kind of taking a PG year at the training center. But obviously it's been, very beneficial for Aaron Brooks. I mean, he was dominant already, on the freestyle scene. I know.
You think he can hop in and be that good for Penn State next year?
I really do. And I know that he didn't look great out at the Midlands. We talked about that in December.
Yes.
but it didn't look like he was in folk style shape. At that time, it didn't look like he was really battle tested or ready to compete against that level guy. I mean, you can't just be wrestling freestyle every day.
Because the mat wrestling is just so much different.
So much different,
Aaron Brooks took second. We were correct. He lost 11-10 to the Japanese guy.
Yeah.
So we were right. Good job, Matt. Good job, Ben. Let's see. Our other returning place winners. Hey, Jacob Warner is still a UWW junior. I'm just kind of shocked he didn't wrestle at all.
Now,
maybe burnt out after last year. Elam had shoulder surgery, I believe, or maybe something to that effect. Mekhi Lewis is too old.
Yep.
Bergie's too old. And Fix is, I believe, too old. So there you go. Okay, 86 kilograms. We are going to go with, I'm blanking on who won this. You remember?
Trent Hidley.
Oh, he looked good, huh?
Really, really good. I mean,
he looked really good.
I mean, he looked like he's going to be in the mix right away next year.
But you think he's going to kick Renan out of not 84, or you think? I mean, obviously, this weight class is 189 pounds, and it's day of weigh-in, so maybe Hidley goes 97.
Maybe.
I mean, obviously, North Carolina State's had a lot of success with people going up weight classes in the past few years,
and that would be surprising to me. Like I'm surprised because it doesn't. And I'm more familiar with Hayden, but I have watched Trent quite a bit. It didn't seem like his frame was that big for him to go 97, but
I would have said the same thing, Matt. I agree with that sentiment. Big time, but he smashed Gavin Hoffman in the semis, and then smashes Zach Braunagel in the final. I mean, just really good performance by Trent Hidley.
Hoffman, a former world team member, I believe at the cadet level.
Yep.
But still had made a team. Abe Assad, very, very good. I mean, this is a.
I believe Hoffman won a medal. He won a medal, I think.
I believe he was second or third, division. Right?
Yep, I think so.
Yeah.
Definitely not champion. Okay, you brought this guy up earlier, Matt, but let's bring him up again. Lucas Davison, Northwestern future 197-pounder, beats Jacob Woodley in the finals. Another Northwestern guy doing really good, having a lot of success in freestyle. I don't see any reason why he's not going to have.
Yeah, I mean, Woodley's a really good freestyler. I mean, that's the thing. When of all these matchups, I think there's a handful where you could say the two high-level freestyle guys. Obviously, these guys are all very, very good. But when you're thinking about more of the elite freestyle guys, I would probably place Woodley in that category as well.
He's had a lot of success in the previous freestyle tournaments. I remember him really well because I've had a lot of guys around that weight class that have had to either be in his bracket or wrestle him or whatever. All right, 97 kilograms, getting down to the end here. Matt,
I am not.
I never heard of this guy. I didn't know who this guy was.
I'm not really familiar with many of these guys, actually. Surprisingly.
Tanner Sloan was the one. Tanner Sloan was the guy who shocked everyone by teching Jacob Warner at the Midlands. Kind of came out of nowhere. So he makes the finals on the one side. Sam Schuyler, who I don't really know, makes the finals. And this was actually one finals match I did watch this one live because it was kind of like at the end. Crazy, wild match. Schuyler ends up winning 17-13. I don't know if there's anyone else who, maybe a Jacob Warner might be entering this bracket at the trials. I'm not really sure how that's all going to play out.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, you would think that he would probably be the favorite if he did jump in there.
Yeah, you would think. Well, I mean, except that he got whooped by Sloan, but that was mostly folk style.
Yeah, he got turned repeatedly over and over again.
Yeah. Okay, and at heavyweight, Anthony Cassiopi dominates Seth Nevels 13-0.
Dominate everybody.
Man.
Everybody.
Man, Matt, you're hoping, if you're Penn State, you're hoping you got Kassar back next year. Because Seth Nevels did not look that great here in this match.
No. And the thing is, Cassiopi, he's been doing that. He did that to everybody in folk style this year, too. I mean, he was pinning his way through open.
Except at Midlands.
Yes, except at Midlands. But,
Guys, remember famously, Willie Saylor picked Cassiopi to win the Midlands, and then Cassiopi crapped the bed and didn't really do well at all.
Yeah.
I don't think he placed the Midlands.
No, I don't believe he did.
Okay, last thing, Matt. I don't think any of these rules changes. Oh, you want to close us up in UWW Juniors?
No. I think there's not a ton to talk about. I think
I'm honestly not feeling as confident in getting a whole bunch of medals as we have the past few years at the UWW Junior level. I mean, the past few years we've had these killer teams, and I think when you look at this team, there's no one on there besides Aaron Brooks where you're like, oh, this guy, I don't think, unless I'm freaking someone, this guy's got a previous world medal. None of those other guys have previous world medals, correct?
Well, I believe Heinselman's been on a couple teams already.
He's been on teams,
he's
but
got
no medals.
level experience, international experience, so that should serve him well, even though he hasn't placed. I would think 65. Whoever comes out of 61. I mean
61.
With
but again, no world medals. I mean, Matt, if you're looking at previous years, we've had a Dayton Fix returning world champion, or Kyle Snyder returning world champion, or even Aaron Brooks returning cadet medalist, Mark Hall, kind of go, Gabriel Stevenson, et cetera, et cetera. We've had Daniel Kirkvlevet. We've had a lot more previous world medalists on the team. So I was kind of, I don't know. I feel like, who knows? Maybe this team could shock me and we get a whole bunch of world medals. I don't know, but that's just kind of my general feeling after looking at it for the first time.
Yeah, we'll have to see how things play out, but I'm sure the guys at USA Wrestling have a good plan of action set in place to try and.
Yanni's a junior, so we get Yanni back on the team.
I think he's going to be focused on another tournament.
Okay, rules, Matt. I'm not too passionate about these. Video review. All right, let's just go run through these.
Just to be clear, these are all proposals right now.
Okay.
These are going to be
proposed
rules.
Are
proposals that are being passed up to the committee, and the committee will vote on them. I don't think anything groundbreaking, really. I mean, if anything, they're putting some of these rules in check, like the hands to the face. So we could go point by point. The first one is the video rule.
Video review. So if the coach loses, they get a stall warning against their athlete. I want to see less challenges, so I guess kind of whatever, but
I think
seems dumb.
That was the intent of the proposal. There seemed to be, like in your words, a lot of frivolous, just people throwing the block to throw the block, and without a lot of rhyme or reason. And I've seen guys actually use this. I've seen coaches abuse this to kind of get a break for the wrestler. He looked like he was tired, or momentum was going their way. So they're kind of. I've seen some coaches abuse the rules. So a lot of these rules proposal are based on worst case scenarios, which I don't know.
So
how
you don't mind this change, or you like this change?
I don't mind.
Or you don't like it.
I don't mind it.
You're in the middle.
I'm in the middle.
Okay.
What do you feel? I feel more strongly about
I'm somewhere in the middle. I don't feel strong. I don't feel that strongly about this. I mean, the one thing is, if I was a coach, and Matt, I'm not throwing the block too often because these dudes don't overturn their calls barely at all. They barely ever do.
Yeah.
Okay. So medical forfeits count as losses. I guess this would be in response to the fact that people are forfeiting out of Big Tens, and then thus it's very hard to seed them properly at NCAAs. If the medical forfeits count, then someone who forfeits out at the semifinals then will take 3 losses. And so they would have 3 losses in the record. I don't know, but I'm kind of whatever on this one, because listen, the seating committee, everyone on there is a human, and they know that a medical forfeit means he didn't really get whooped.
Right, and they've also, without having this rule in place, they've already kind of penalized guys. Take Jason Ulf a year ago, defaulting out and then not getting the number 1 seed, even though he was hurt. So they've already kind of, without this rule being in place, to try and place criteria, more strict criteria that this actually counts as a loss on your record. They've already kind of been penalizing guys for defaulting out. My thing, this is similar to guys calling injury time. that I think by and large, Ben, I think there's a few
Yeah.
coaches that try and game the system or
Yeah.
pull guys out to protect the seed. But by and large, I think most coaches, if you're good enough to go, they put their guys out there. And I think, if you're not completely healthy, why wouldn't you, default out to be prepared for the
Yeah.
NCAA tournament? Why would you cut your nose to spite your face? So
Yeah.
yeah, I feel a little bit more strongly about this, that I don't think athletes should be penalized and they should get a loss on their record, even though you said you can look on it and say, oh, this is a medical, oh, it's a loss. It's not really a loss. I mean, if you want to bump your guy ahead of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I would feel the same way, Matt. I'm not too passionate. I would probably prefer it doesn't go this way, but I'm also not that upset that they are counting as losses. I'm kind of in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. 2-hour weigh-ins instead of 1-hour weigh-in. I'm kind of whatever on this one. I don't feel too strongly. How do you feel?
Same. I mean, I mean,
Okay.
there's a lot of new rules being proposed, but I don't think that they're going to be that impactful.
Yeah. Okay. All right, next one then. Saunas can now be used out of season. How do you feel about that? I don't care.
I feel that they should be used year round. I think
Year round. I agree with that.
And so, we're going back quite a bit. We're going back to 1998 when the NWCA and the NCAA stepped in and they made the right call at the time, right? I mean, what athletes used to do to get down to weight and the amount of weight that they were cutting and the ways that they were cutting weight were not safe, we're not healthy. But at what point, I argued this for the last several years, probably the last 10 years. At what point have the changes in weight cutting and the OPC and the weight management, and the hydration tests and all these things, when do we actually say that we've changed the culture of the sport? Right. And
I think we have. I think the culture of the sport has way changed.
Yeah, I don't think guys cut a ton of weight. The 1-hour weigh-in rules. If you want to cut a lot of weight, you're playing with fire. And we see the guys that still try and cut an extreme amount of weight. Just the 1-hour weigh-in or now the 2-hour weigh-in is still going to bite you in the butt if you're cutting too much weight or doing it the wrong way. And I actually think, what people and what coaches would use for saunas now would be more for recovery.
Yes,
and not
totally.
cutting weight. And I can say it now that I'm out of coaching that guys just they don't use saunas anymore. They're not familiar with cutting weight in saunas. And
people don't cut weight in saunas. It's simple.
Yeah. Back in my coaching days, we would still have guys get in the sauna, out of season. And most of the guys, they were in and out in 5 minutes because they couldn't take it because they've never been conditioned to be in a sauna. So they, and so I think anymore with the high level training that these guys are doing with their, with their recovery days, with their hot and cold tubs, with their yoga, with their stretches, with their active recovery, saunas are really a beneficial part of it, the recovery process. So I feel that the culture of our sport has changed. I think saunas are actually a beneficial, treatment for wrestlers.
Yeah.
So I'm all for it. I actually think they should not just say out of season. It should be
anytime they want.
Anytime they want.
Okay, stall warning goes back to what it used to be, which is 1-1-1-2 instead of 1-1-1-1. Whatever. I don't really care. Last one, this is the one I want to hear what your take is. I think it's stupid. I think it was stupid this year. I think this is a bad solution. Hands to the face is now not an unnecessary roughness violation. It is an illegal hold. So the ref can, instead of calling for a penalty, they can warn them. But they could still call for a penalty. So I don't know. I don't know where to go on this one. I think it's kind of dumb.
It gives
Take it all the way out.
It gives a little bit more discretion to the referees, which I think you should. I think there should be a warning. If you put hands to the face instead of calling it right away, you should warn the guy, hey, this is your one warning, hands to the face. Next time I'm going to call you. That's the clarification.
But Matt, if every single ref goes one warning and then the point, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
But that means some might do 2 warnings. Some might just call a penalty point. We don't know what's going to happen.
Or they could just warn the guy 5 different times. They could not call it at all. So
yeah,
I would like to see I don't like this rule at all. I wish it would, I still don't understand why they put it in place to begin with. It's not like we've had any guys that have gotten severe eye damage.
I had never seen it in my life.
There. I mean, we've had some guys with detached retinas. John Trench comes to mind.
That was from an eye poke?
I believe it was. And there have been a few others, but most guys, I mean, you haven't seen a lot of guys, you haven't seen the determination of a lot of matches, be determined by guys poking fingers in the face. So I don't like the rule at all. I would, take it all the way out, but if not, at least put some better criteria instead of discretion, that's completely open-ended.
Yeah, so I totally agree. Okay, well
Matt, I think there's 2 other ones too, Ben. There's
not on the page I'm reading.
Okay, so there's a new uniform option that you could actually wear shorts. A couple years ago they did. There's always been the discussion with the 2-piece uniform, the more compression top and bottom. Now this proposal is saying that you could actually wear loose fitting shorts. I would imagine that this would be like a fight short that you would have the option to wear. I don't know what your feelings are about the whole uniform thing. We've never really discussed it on or off the air. I don't know if you're a traditionalist that likes the singlet.
No, I'm cool. I'm cool with shorts. I think a singlet hurts barrier to entry, especially for middle school and high school kids. At the college level, I think it's kind of irrelevant. Yeah. But either way.
Entry to sport. I agree. I think young kids, high school kids, when their bodies are still growing and maturing or this and that, I can see where some guys or women for that matter, right?
Yeah.
Would feel have a little bit of a complex wearing a singlet. But once you get into the college ranks, I don't think it really. I think most guys would say, "Hey, I'll wear spandex and no top, and I'd be fine with that."
Yeah, yeah.
And
the other what's the other rule? I didn't see that one.
The other one, well, surprisingly, this is the one that I would think you would know about. It's about hair.
Hey, there we go. Let's have some long hair.
Yeah, and I know that where was it in New Jersey this year? Was that where the referee that idiot cut the young man's hair? What a moron that guy was.
Okay, well, cool. Let's let people live long hair. I can get down with that.
Yeah, and I think it's like a lot of for cultural or religious reasons, kids wear their hair certain ways, and I think I know there was a situation, and this is not. This goes more to the facial hair, but I know Buffalo had a wrestler, I'm blanking on his name, but he was Muslim and had to have a beard and wouldn't wear, and he had to wear a protector over his beard. It was the most ridiculous thing.
What?
Yeah.
Stop.
No, I'm serious. This was several years ago.
I've never seen that. That's hilarious. I've never seen that.
And then right after that, because they actually filed an appeal to the NCAA, and they won the appeal. But before and I'll have to talk to Stutzman if this is how it played out, but I believe before the appeal, he actually had to wear a beard guard, which I'd never seen before. Gosh. It was crazy.
That is pretty insane. Okay, well, that's all for today. Matt, next week, I don't know, me and you have talked, because I don't think we're going to do it from New York City. So we'll probably be doing it later next week. It will be my guess.
Most likely later. We're both going to be up in New York. I've got the fun part.
Oh, baby.
You got the fun part. You get to wrestle.
I love to wrestle. Some people, I don't love to make weight, but I'm going to make weight on Sunday. I love wrestling. I love competing, so that'll be good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was it. That was fun. We had to review the juniors, talked about the rules changes, and we will talk to you guys next week.
All right. We'll see you, Ben.